don't make claims. Like, we don't claim to cure cancer. We don't claim to treat disease. We don't claim to diagnose things, because we're not in that business. What we're in the business to do is to help sick people get well and take them wherever they're at in their journey, because we're all at different places, are we not? We all got different backgrounds. We all come in and we have to be met right where we're at. And that's exciting, because not creating a cookie cutter type program allows for uniqueness and for the person going through the journey to evolve at their speed. So some people come in and they're just raring to go. Some people are real nervous about taking that first step. They are needing education on making better choices, on how to take their health from where they're at to where they want to be. So one of the things that I'm kind of on a mission to do right now is to take some of my ideas and to put it into y'all's hands, not just in a setting like this, but you guys get the benefit, because, you know, it's always more unique and better to be here, is it not? As opposed to see it on a video. But the information is still going to be priceless, because I want to make sure that I start getting this stuff out there. And I just am excited to be here this morning. So we're going to be talking about liver, and more liver. Okay? We're going to be talking liver all morning, because the liver's the giver. Myself, I'm going to be up here chatting a little bit. I'm going to have Dawn come up and speak about a program that her and I are creating together that we're really excited about. And we're going to have Kim focus on essential oils around the liver. We're going to have Jessica come out and do, you know, we're going to all take some liver shots this morning. If anybody's interested, this will be really exciting. And so we're going to just have a little fun this morning. You all cool with that? So got a lot to plow through, but I'm going to keep my part short and sweet, because I really just want to give you nuggets about the liver and why the liver is such an important piece. So I'm glad everybody showed up. It's exciting to see people excited about their livers. I'm excited about your liver. You know what's really cool is I can literally walk into a patient visit. Watch yourself. You all right? And I can say, "Howdy, Mrs. Liver. Howdy, Mr. Liver. Hello, Mrs. Liver." And I can literally work on the liver of every person in this room and feel like I'm doing a really good job of care, because it has such an impact. We call the liver in school the giver. And it was called the giver because it has estimated over 600 functions in the body. Now, does anybody know where your liver is? Right rib cage. Yep, just below the right rib cage. And the liver literally has over 600 jobs. And it's such a dynamic organ, because if I cut out a third of it to 3/4 of it, it can grow back. And I was like, wow. I mean, that's pretty fascinating that we can, you know, lose that much of our liver and it'll grow back. But then I got to thinking, I was like, well, what makes the liver so special? Why does it get to grow back and nobody else does? And I got to thinking about it. They say that we go through, like, you know, 10, 15, 20 spines in a lifetime. We shed it. We shed and rebuild. So the body is in a state of breakdown and waste removal and regeneration all at the same time. And as the liver is as well, the gallbladder is, all of our systems are. And so, but the liver has pretty much a hand in everything that is going on in the body. And as people know that I've worked with that have had challenges with your gallbladder, liver, and we had to slow down the liver side in order to pick up the pace on the blood cleansing side, or clean out another organ system so we could go back to the liver, we did that because the liver can get congested. And how does the liver get congested? Any ideas? Toxins. Where do we get toxins?
Everywhere.
Everything. Food, cosmetics, chemicals in the air, water that we drink, water that we bathe in. You know, somebody sent me a picture I think it was actually Jessica sent me a picture the other day, and it had a picture of a mom or a parent a farmer watering the garden with, what do you think he was watering it with? Water. And then the next picture below it was a parent giving what to their children? Soda. And it said in the caption, it said, if you're going to feed your plants water, then why are you going to feed your children sodas? All that sugar, all that chemical, all that excess of that processed garbage, right? And it starts at a young age. Oh, we don't want them to be deprived. Okay. You know, we're creating deprivation, right? So I've been working on the liver a long time, and I know a lot about the liver, and I've seen pretty much anything that can go wrong with the liver. We have a 21-day detox program. That's how important the liver is, because we know that doing a yearly or a bi-yearly detox protocol is a good maintenance for the system by deburdening it. The more we deburden the liver, the more impactful our life longevity or vitality will be. And prevention is the key. Not finding diseases early, but preventing them from ever occurring. Everybody agree? So I wanted just to kind of draw a little bit about what I have found that causes the liver physiologically to get messed up. And some of you guys may have seen this, but we're going to at least have a group discussion around it. And I welcome questions. If you've got a wonder about this, let's talk about it. Because what we know is we've got a digestive tract, okay? And when your shots are ready, you can start running.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're ready.
Yeah, go ahead. You're ready. And so Jessica's going to be passing out liver shots. Let me tell you a quick little thing about the liver. So the liver tonic, this is one of many ways that you can stimulate the body, right? We like these because they're immediate impact. If this has dandelion root, which also is in our Dandy Blend, which is basically like an organic coffee, Oregon grape, turmeric, milk thistle, all things that help control inflammation in the blood and control inflammation in the liver itself, and then convert fat-soluble compounds into water-soluble compounds that can be excreted through the bowel, excreted through the kidney, or excreted through the sweat glands, or excreted through the lungs. Because these are all detox pathways that we're getting rid of. And we're going to, so this is just one measure. If you have a sensitivity to alcohol, this is in an alcohol base fermentation. You're not really taking much. I mean, the alcohol is in there for preservation of the herb. Okay, and this basically will never go bad, and that's a great thing, right? And so we're also only giving you about 2.5 ml of this, which is very little in the form of the herbal tonic. And then of that cocktail, there's only these different herbs are packed in there. So, but this little shot can do amazing things. I just got a report from Dawn. She put a friend of hers on one of our mood tonics, and he's a captain of a ship, and he wants to kill people when he's out there on the water. It's hot. It's enclosed space. There's his mood is short fused. Anybody ever been there? Do you know that your liver can actually dictate whether you have a short fuse or a long fuse? Who wants a longer fuse? How many of your relatives or your loved ones want you to have a longer fuse? You know, and so working on the liver can be a very, very useful way of increasing your fuse. So bottoms up, everybody. The screaming in the background is the gnashing of teeth. I'm just kidding. No, it is. It's great. It's right. It's not terrible at all. And I guess it's dependent on your taste buds, right? In my world, I've been doing this so long, and this is what we're starting to find with patients. Patients that take these types of things in, they actually create a bitter palate. And this goes into a whole different discussion we'll talk about in another month, but developing the bitter palate is very important for the vitality and health of people, okay? So let's get into this. So here's, what do you think this is? Is it a rainbow, or do you think this is your digestive tract? This is your bowels, okay? And as you know, we should be having a bowel movement every day. And if you're not, we need to talk about that. We've got all kinds of ways to help encourage better bowel flow. If your bowels are not moving well, or if I break this open so that you can see inside of the tube, this is what we begin to see. One of typically three things. I used to believe patients when they came in and said, I have a bowel movement every day, until I started realizing that, and there are some people that do have bowel movements every day, but I also found that this, if it was truly clean and I had a way to look in there on the microscopic level, we would know if it was truly clean or not. But a lot of people come in this phase and they have what's called dirty bowels. The bowels aren't completely clogged up, but having dirty bowels will create congestion in the liver, okay? Because if this slows down, the liver, living right underneath your right quadrant on your rib cage, so this is our liver, can't do its job and dump toxins into the bowel. Because the body knows that it's not going to put toxins in an already toxic environment. So if it's toxic in here because things are sluggish or dirty, or worse, the third thing that we see quite often is, what do you think this is? If this is dirty, what do you think this is? Stopped up. Very good. Or constipated. This is completely clogged up. Trash everywhere. Nothing's moving through there at all. So this is constipation. And constipation is what I've honestly built a business around this. Not intentionally. I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know that this was a common problem in every patient that walks in the door. And then the people that are coming in saying they have a bowel movement, I'm finding that most of them, because of today's SAD diet, that's called the SAD diet, SAD American diet, is creating dirty bowels. And this dirty bowel problem is creating toxins to generate in the bowel and slow down. So we're actually developing a slow, lazy colon. The liver can't do its job, and the liver then pushes toxins into primarily 3 areas. Doesn't always in these 3 areas, but primarily these 3 areas. It puts it in the brain. How many people think it's a good idea to put toxins in your brain? What happens when you start getting brain stuff? Alzheimer's as an advanced stage, that'd be way, but before that, what happens initially?
You get foggy.
Brain fog, tired, mental clarity, can't remember names, numbers, words, can't remember that next thought. You're like, I walked into this room for something. Surely that's happened to somebody in this room, right? I mean, like I said earlier, I feel like sometimes I'm forgetting more than I know or that I've learned because there's just an onslaught of information out there, but 2, because I don't know, even if you did everything right, I still think that the body is in a state of degeneration and dealing with environmental toxins, and we have to fight it really hard. And so putting toxins in your brain is a bad idea. What about putting it in your joints? What happens then? You get achy pains. So arthritises, right? I think it's not really arthritis. I think it really should be called arthralgias, because I don't think there's anything right about having joint pain or inflammation in there. And so the joints are a very vital piece of longevity. We're learning right now, and we're going to be discussing this in subsequent videos, that the joints are one of the first things that wear out as we age long term. And if you want to live a long, vibrant life, and your joints are going to wear out, don't you think it's good to start early on a joint indestructible program? Anybody want indestructible joints? I do. Well, taking care of the liver is one way we can do that. We're going to demonstrate in other videos, in other seminars, how to do that. Okay? And we're really excited about creating that world. And then what about fat cells? What do you think happens there? Why would the body store toxins in the fat cells? It's like trunk space, right? That's why they always say junk in the trunk, right? That's what my wife says it anyway. I find that the fats is a extra storage house because the body's afraid to put the toxins into a breakdown process where it can be excreted out of the body appropriately. And it has to obviously come, not just liver, but diet, blood sugar, other factors that come to this, but this is another area the body does this. So we start seeing the body putting toxin in these 3 areas primarily, and this creates a need for detoxification. And then, so we've got basically 2 systems here that we have to work on directly, and because they are so vitally important. You have to work on the liver. And symptom patterns that first typically show up when you have liver congestion that you would never think are knee pain. Anybody ever get knee pain? Knee pain is classic liver. Classic liver. What about waking up in the middle of the night to pee? One time is a check engine light. 2 times and 3 times is a big problem because that means that your liver is so inefficient that it's not doing its job. Do you know when the liver is most active? Between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. You must know it's 2 a.m. because that's when you could possibly wake up in the middle of the night. And you go, did I wake up because I have to pee? Or did my liver wake me up to pee? Right? Check engine light. So now we've got several levels of symptomatology. Now we've got brain fog. We've got joint pains. We've got fat distribution that we don't want. We've got sleep gets disrupted because of this. What about the obvious? What about just pain right over the top of the liver? Or the traditional thing that we learned about in med school is that the liver shoots pain directly up to the right shoulder as a check engine light. And so we know that that's a classic potential hot gallbladder. So we want to support the liver in the evening hours heavily. And you can really do that by taking like herb shots or beets or eating asparagus or taking in garlic. This helps in moving trash through the liver in the evening hour. So what we're going to shift into right now, and this has just been kind of an evolving process for us because Dawn and I were talking when I was on her table getting a deep tissue massage one day, and I realized that, Dawn, like practically every one of my patients in my office could benefit from not just a biochemical program to move trash through their liver and to stimulate the bowels to eliminate more effectively, but I think that they could actually benefit from a structural manipulation of this area. And she goes, yeah, that's a great idea. And she goes, you know, and I do this technique, I wonder if there's some overlay. So we started talking about it, and there's a ton of overlap in the 2 techniques that she was doing. So we sat down and we started brainstorming on how we could stimulate lymphatic areas of the body for the liver, that we could, in the hands and the feet and in the body, actually the body systems itself, that we could stimulate the bowels and actually manually, it's kind of like taking your bowels to the gym. It's a good idea. We take our muscles to the gym. Why not take our bowels to the gym biochemically and having somebody get in there and break up some of the trash that's in there? Because it's never good to walk around like this. And we didn't talk about all the digestive diseases because we're talking primarily around the liver. But if the liver, or if the bowels are backed up, guaranteed the liver is backed up. And if the liver's backed up, we're going to have problems in other areas. And there's more to it than just this. And when the liver is most active between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., this is the time of night that you really start seeing it start to break down on you. You'll have itchy skin in the night. You'll have rashes pop up on your body. Every time somebody comes into my office, I start realizing that I could literally work on the liver of every person and make a big difference in their lives. So I'm really excited about just you guys grabbing this particular nugget, and then Dawn and I are going to kind of talk a little bit about what she's going to do with the massage and how this could be a benefit as well. So at this point, before we break off into that, do you guys have any questions? Ian.
We have the sinus issue, so where does that start falling in?
Okay. That's very good. So he's asking about sinuses, right? How many people have sinus issues? You know, and in drier climates, it can impact you even more when you go on camping trips or when you go to Austin and you're dealing with, you know, everybody always talks about Austin fever, you know. But we're in Houston, right? And it's still hot here and dry here and humid here and all this other. But so where does it come into play? It comes into play. So remember that there's other areas that this impacts. If the liver's backed up, before it goes into those areas, it has to go into an area. So if we've got the brain and we've got the joints and we've got the fat, one of the distribution channels is the lymphatics. Okay? So the lymphatic system holds, it's like your trash collecting system. And every organ in the body has one. Your liver has one, your bowels have one, your kidneys have one, your heart has one. Because why? If I work in this room all day long, what are the odds that I'm going to generate some kind of waste? Probably pretty high, right? Just in the nature of business. If I don't work here today, what are the odds that we're going to generate any waste? Very slim, because nobody's here. Well, when does the body not work? You know, there was a joke that that a medical doctor was taking his car into the mechanic, and the mechanic looked over at this medical doctor and said, "Hey, doc, what kind of doctor are you?" He says, "I'm a cardiologist." And he says, "Well, come on over here. I want to show you something." He says, look at this engine." He said, "This is the heart of the engine. You see all those valves? You see all these tubes that carry fluid and carry stuff? And you see these working parts that are all going on? You know, I'm curious, why do you get paid the big bucks? And, you know, us mechanics have to sweat it out here in the garages, and we don't get paid as much." And the medical doctor thought about it a second and said, "Well, try doing it with the engine running, right? The body never stops, so it's always generating waste." And so the lymphatics start to block up. And do you think your sinuses are draining into something? Absolutely. They're either draining out your nose, out your ears, out your eyes, down the back of your throat, down into the lymphatic nodes of the throat, into the axilla, underneath the armpits, down into the liver. And if the liver's not working, the lymphatics now are congested. So your body innately knows, God designed it this way, that it's going to find an exit channel. Where's that exit channel? So if you have sinuses, it doesn't mean that you have to have brain fog, joint pain, or have excess fat, or be tired. It could mean that you just have really bad allergies, because your body, everybody's body breaks down. That's why we can't just say that it's one thing. Again, this thing has how many different functions? 600 or more. Okay? But so the lymphatics, in your case, if you're having allergies, they block up in the throat, and now the sinuses don't have anywhere to dump their waste. And then all of a sudden, they have to come out somewhere. Acne, clogged up ears, earaches, itchy, watery eyes, clogged up sinus cavities. And now and so there's other pieces, Ian, about allergies that we're not discussing here, like airway issues, but we're discussing in relationship to the liver. Great question. Lymphatics are the magic piece. So a lot of times we have to come in here and we have to support the lymphatic drainage pathways simultaneously while fixing the liver. Because it might not be a problem downstream, it actually might be a problem upstream or in here that's causing this to be an issue, not to drain.
Is there a particular time of day that the lymphatic system is more active? So the lymphatic system
is primarily a trash collecting system. And because each system of the body has a clock, I actually have a Chinese herbal book here, and I have this in one of my treatment rooms, but it has a clock on when every organ system in the body, if I can find it very quickly, is most active throughout the day. And this biological clock, the lymphatic system for that particular organ is most active the same time the organ is. For example, the liver, 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. The gallbladder, 11 to 1. The digestive system, the colon, is most active between 5 and 7 in the morning. So when should you have your biggest bowel movement of the day? 5 and 7 in the morning. Whenever we look at the stomach, when is it most active? 7 to 9 a.m. When should we have our biggest meal of the day? Breakfast. And so simultaneously, when the organ system is most active, that particular lymphatic system is most active. And then if the liver is most active between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., it's also least active between, its rest period is 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. Anybody ever get those afternoon fogs? Oh, excuse me. I need to work. Got to get through the afternoon. We need to actually start taking naps again, and letting the liver rest during the day. But we don't do that in this country. No rest for the weary. Great question. Any other?
So if your allergies flared up at a certain time of day, is that a trigger that one of the systems that was?
It's a great question. So give me an example. So like after lunch, right?
Early morning and late at night is the only time I would get a runny nose, and I could get one every day.
Between those. And so what she's bringing up is the art of listening to your body and understanding, yes, if it's early in the morning, we can actually go look at the organs that are most active during that time, or we go look at the actual meal that you're eating at that time and determine what's going on. If you get allergies worse, let's say right before bed, right, or in the evening, that's because the liver's starting to get ready. The body is starting to get ready for what? Detoxification, regeneration in the middle of the night. And there's a glitch. There's spark plugs need to be changed. It needs to be cleansed, detoxed. It needs an herb shot. It needs some essential oils. It needs a massage. It needs something, Gotta do something. But absolutely, it would tie right into the organ system at hand, and we can look and say, well, I wonder if my stomach needs more support if I get it first thing in the morning. Remember, your lungs are most active right behind the liver, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. So a lot of asthmatics will start having coughing fits in that time frame. Okay? Great questions. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to switch gears. Dawn's going to talk about myofascial release inside of the liver bowels, because this is super exciting, guys. There's nobody doing this. I am kind of beside myself because I've had it done 4 times, going on I think 5, and I love it. When I'm done, I feel more energetic. I feel like alive, like I had a jolt of coffee, not jittery, just I'm alive, woken up again. And again, when you livenly up the liver, great things can happen. You just turned on 600 potential jobs that may not have been working well before. And yes, even though I'm quote-unquote the doctor, I still get benefit from these therapies too, because guess what, guys? My engine's still running. I'm generating waste. I'm in the process with you guys. I'm going through this, and I'm just been doing it a little bit longer, and I've started a little bit, earlier, and I'm still, though, finding how important it is that I figure out how to incorporate all these types of therapies that I'm learning, that I know, and the new therapies like we're talking about this morning. Okay?
I have something I'd like to say, just because of one thing that you said about you doing this at your age. You're quite a bit younger than some of us, I think. And we all look to be, most of us look to be about the same age. And so as middle age comes, and we get to this age, and all these things that are happening to us because we did not take care of our liver, as we're just now starting to try and go backwards. So my question is, if people start younger, do they not? I mean, I have all these issues. I have knees, I have fat, I have
brain fog.
Brain fog. I have, what's the other?
Waking up at night to pee.
Waking up at night to pee. I have all these things. So
detox.
Yeah. So do the
emergency intervention.
So as we start younger, does it mean that hopefully as we get older, I mean, for the younger people, that they're not going to have those achy knees and those
that
midsection stuff? Will it prevent some of that stuff in
so
younger people?
Not only prevent it if you start earlier, it just makes it's also for any age. And what we know is that if you nourish the joints by doing our indestructible joint program, which we will teach that, okay? If we feed the body correctly so that it can detoxify more effectively, no matter what age. Remember, I told you 3/4 of this thing can be cut out and it will still regrow. That means at any age, you're going to get value in the body regenerating itself. And so, yes, it's easier for somebody starting younger, but it doesn't necessarily mean we're through the woods. And I'll tell you, when I was in my 20s, I didn't feel a lot of the impacts that these supplements and the programs had on me. I just didn't feel it. I'd be mad. I'd be sitting in a seminar and people would be like, yeah, this happened to me, and this happened to me, and this happened to me, and this happened to me. And I'm seeing it happen with my patients, but nothing's like happening to me. And then I hit 32. And I'm like, this ain't normal. And I kind of got ticked off. I really did. And what I've come to realize is that nobody gets out of here alive. We're all in the process. And so it doesn't matter if you're young or old. It matters just that you get started. A little bit of detoxification, a little bit of liver work is better than no liver work. A little bit of nutrition is better than none. And then incorporating things throughout the day that require you to slow down enough where we can move these joints again and keep them mobile, get our posture right. We're working right now on creating a posture program because I really believe that we can create anti-aging at any level because I've seen it happen in people's lives. People come in here not looking good, not feeling good, and they walk out of here a little bit more bright. Their skin looks more radiant, their energy more bubbly, their memory more sharp. So yes, it's going to not only happen to the young, but it also happens to the older folks as well. It's the game. It's being in the game.
Right. And I've already seen, that I've seen lots of changes.
And it's going to get better and better and better and better because you're just basically looking at it like this. The more elements you have that you were not genetically born with just means that you've got more piles of paperwork you got to get to. And sometimes, remember, the engine's still running. So it takes time to get to those piles of paperwork, if you can look at it in that metaphoric state.